We are in for a bit of a treat today. We have Dorian Yates versus Michal Krizo, but in this case, we are using the 3 weeks out photos of Dorian Yates. It's 3 weeks, not 6 weeks, because he doesn't have his socks on. He took his socks off. He had the 6 weeks out photos with a... Oh, hold on a second. I edited these. Come to think of it, these are the 6 weeks out photos of Dorian Yates. I just edited them. I took the socks off him so we can see his dogs. Those dogs have been barking all day, by the way. And I colorized it, gave him some little tiny posing trunks. So this is basically what Dorian Yates would have looked like if he was on stage 6 weeks prior to the Olympia. And you know what? His conditioning, it looks good enough for today's stage. In fact, he's big enough too. He was 279, I believe they said he was, 3 weeks out. So 6 weeks out, he must have been 285. He's a big stud. Dorian Yates is a Clydesdale. And for those of you who think Dorian could not compete with today's competitors because of size, I highly doubt that would be a fact. I don't think he would have to suck down into that 1990s type condition. That's what the desired look that they wanted. So yeah, Dorian Yates. He is bigger than Michal Krizo. We're using the Prague Pro version of Krizo because, in my opinion, that was his best version. Not the Prague that he won, the Prague Pro that he placed second. Look at the arms on Yates. Can you imagine Dorian Yates dominating in the arm department? I wouldn't say he's dominating, but he has impressive guns. When he sucked down, that's when he lost a lot of the size. And that's what happens. You lose your arm size, your chest, your legs, basically all of the big muscles. Lose a lot of size, pop, wow. But very impressive nonetheless. Krizo, he's pretty good too. So if you're taking this comparison seriously, which I guess some of you do, Dorian Yates, he's battling it out with Krizo. Krizo giving him a fight. Here's the front lat spread, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something right now. Sizing could be an issue. Dorian Yates, I think he's slightly shorter than Michal Krizo, but look at his wheels. Look at his legs. He's holding them pretty straight, is he not? I think that all counts. That all has to be taken into consideration. They bow their wheels out nowadays to make them look bigger. Really? When you put them side by side to Dorian Yates, Dorian's quads look bigger. Look at the size of the guy. Calves included. So, yeah, he's not bowing those wheels out, but I don't think you need to. I think they should just stand like this now. It's a good, fair comparison. Condition of Yates, I mean, this is second to none on today's stage. And he was 6 weeks out. I hate to sound like a broken record, but like I said, for those of you who believe that the 90s guys just couldn't compete, it's all about the prep leading up into the event. The muscle that Dorian Yates had before he started to cut, well, if he had approached it the way they do nowadays, he would look more like this. He would look massive. And he would possess that great V-taper. Lats. Michal Krizo stands no chance against a prime Dorian Yates. Turn to the side here, and that's my point of this. This is a prime Dorian Yates. Dorian Yates was not at his 100% best on stage, apparently. Like I said, he had to suck down, compete with guys like Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray, Kevin Levrone. He didn't need to be 300 pounds. And on the other side of the token, if he competed nowadays, he wouldn't have to be so lean and aesthetic. So he could, and don't you dare try to tell me that they are just as lean and as aesthetic today as they were in the 90s. They were living sculptures. Literally, Ray, Flex Wheeler, even Levrone. But my point is, Dorian Yates would look like a nowadays athlete if he competed nowadays. A lot of them would. But you got to think of it this way. He was basically competing against classic physique division competitors back then. So what would Samson do if he had to compete against Bumstead and those boys? He wouldn't need to be 300 pounds. He would suck down. But having said that, Krizo does look good in the side chest. In the side tricep, now, to be fair, this picture here of Yates, I did not have to edit feet in. As you can see, it's more of a natural look. The old dogs. But all jokes aside, this is actually the 279-pound Dorian Yates. He must have been 285 or something of that nature for the 6 weeks out. This is 3 weeks out, and he looks tremendous. No way, shape, or form could anybody, and I mean anybody, on today's stage take him out in this side tricep. Hard as granite and looks fantastic. The style of this pose, Samson does it. Nobody could pull it off. Like Dorian Yates. You know, he's from Yorkshire pudding. Let's go down to the local cat house, gents. I want you to come into the room with me, though. Makes me more comfortable. Either way, folks, apologize for that a little bit. Here's the back. Now, sizing, it is an issue. Dorian Yates, I could have even made him bigger, if you could believe that. A lot of his size was in the back. Wow. And for you guys that just won't let the sizing go, I mean, look at Krizo's legs. He's bending them. Dorian's bending his a little bit, I guess. So he's not towering over Krizo. They're about the same height, head level. Those shoulders are quite a bit higher than Krizo's. So yeah, it could be off. But look at the muscle attachments of Yates. The back itself is awesome. Traps. It's not even the same sport, guys. It's not even the same friggin' sport. But to be fair, Dorian Yates, he was not a 90s guy. He was. Just hold on a second. I'm trying to make a little point here. And Ronnie Coleman, same thing. These guys were not the norm. Nobody had this condition of Yates. Nobody had the size of the back of this man. Not one of them. Not one of them. Nasser might have been almost as wide, but he was nowhere near as hard, grainy, and detailed. This was something different. This was something special. And I even detect some glutes. Not the clearest pictures in town, but we have what we have to work with. And I would suggest, condition-wise, this Dorian Yates would be as good as any of them today. Maybe a little tighter condition to beat a guy like Derek or Hattie, but I think he would overwhelm all of those guys. Period. Here is the rear double biceps pose. And at this point, for those of you who did notice that Yates looked a little bit smaller in this picture, good eye. Very good eye. These are the 3 weeks out photos. So Yates he's getting closer and closer to that on-stage condition. You'll also notice that I didn't have to edit the doggy dogs in there. We took his socks off for those pictures. But yes, you were at home, curious, wondering, well, show the two differences. Well, here's the two differences. Here's 6 weeks out versus 3 weeks out. And yes, his arms. You see the arm size goes down first, I think. Traps are bigger too. In the picture that says today. Today's the 6 weeks. You can see the socks. And I think he looked at the pictures and it knocked his own socks off. Huh? You don't think that was funny? Actually, earlier when I said good eye, I kind of heard myself say g'day in Australian. You know, they say, g'day, mate. They say g'day, and you ask them, are you saying that you want me to have a good day? Or are you telling me that I have a good eye? I said g'day. Go subscribe to Desktop Bodybuilding, by the way, starring Xavier Wills. He's Australian. He's a cool dude, too. Wasn't making fun of your accent, Xavier. Yes. Now, when you compare these two backs, I mean, Krizo, that's his weak point. And this is Dorian's strong point. Condition, I would say that Dorian Yates doesn't need to get any more condition. This would win the Olympia. Ooh, that's an interesting test, too. Would this win the Olympia today? I think so. I mean, Samson beat Krizo at this event too, but I don't think it was as drastic, big of a difference. And the most muscular shows us we have no abs and thigh. This shows us that Dorian Yates is a powerhouse. He's a house of power. And you know what? His career would have been longer too. What do you mean, Marx Max Muscle? You're an idiot. Listen, sometimes they get so depleted, it's vulnerable. It leaves your muscles vulnerable. You tear your muscles, especially if you continue that high-intensity training leading up into the event, which Dorian did. That's how he tore all those muscles, being so very lean. He wouldn't have to be so lean nowadays. And he wouldn't do so much high intensity. Well, even though he wasn't lean, he'd probably get away with that stuff. But you know what I mean. The guy is a Clydesdale, a stud, and he is every bit as good as those Dorianites would have us believe. Potentially. We all know what happened in the early 90s. They figured out carbing up situations, and then 2000s they got a little bit over-carbed up, and then the midsections started exploded onto the scene. Hit thumbs up on the video. Love and appreciate all you fine folks for clicking on these videos and listening to my rambles and rambles on. But this is interesting. These edited pictures of Dorian. This is perhaps what he would look like. He would beat them all. Would he beat Coleman? Ooh, there's a question. Have a great one, folks.